Good evening, and welcome to the April meeting of Queens Community Board 6. Tonight, we would like to welcome our 12 new members, and also all of our members that were reappointed. An important note, all of our board members who are up for reappointment this year got reappointed. So we're getting them all back. So congratulations to all of you. I appreciate it. I know that when you're getting reappointed, you kind of sweat it a little bit. Okay, can we? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Tonight, attending remotely are Dr. Renee, Pat Morgan, Kendra Clark, Sherry Rolnick, and John Darashevsky. They will be, these board members attending remotely must be seen and heard for the entirety of the meeting, or they will be counted absent. However, you guys can and use your microphones. Keep them muted until you intend to speak. Use the raised hand function if you want to make a comment. Okay? And they are able to, and I'm going to explain some things as we go tonight because we have so many new members. We have passed a resolution as a board because we meet in person that is an extraordinary circumstances resolution that under certain circumstances people can meet from home. So let's say, for example, you had a dental procedure in the afternoon and you're a little loopy and you talk like you've got 5,000 marshmallows in your mouth. You don't want to come to you don't want to come to here because you just aren't in a good shape. So you can reach out to us in advance and then we can get you connected so that then you can attend remotely so that you can still be an active member of this board. The only interesting caveat, which is kind of weird, I can't explain it, didn't write the law, is that y'all don't count towards quorum. So we always have to subtract. So quorum is like 50% plus 1. And so when you are remote, we do run the risk of not meeting quorum. Tonight, we're in great shape. Y'all look great. I don't know how you all did it getting here tonight. I know that I got soaked from the knees on down, so I want to thank you all for your efforts tonight. Okay, tonight, LT is going to be our master of laptop. She will be keeping her eyes and ears on the screen, which is a big job. If you happen to see something that maybe we've missed, if someone's raising their hands and we've missed them, raise your hand and we will call on you and we'll address it because we can all see. So this is LT. She is our Secretary of Finance on the Executive Committee. And then now we have our flag. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Y'all can be seated. Now, tonight we are going to start with our public forum. Our public forum is where members of the public are able to come and share their concerns, their complaints, their praises. We like those every once in a while. And we put the public forum at the beginning of our meeting. Every community board is different. We believe that we need to center the community in our work, and that's how we do this. We don't make them sit through the entire meeting. So we will be starting with comments from the public tonight, but before we get going with that, we do have a good and welfare section where we do get updates from our board members that are beneficial to the public. So I want to see who from the board has anything to report for good and welfare. Okay, Mark, who else? Just Mark? Okay.
Welcome, everybody.
Hold on, Mark, you need a microphone. That's another thing. Because we record and live stream our meetings, it is important that y'all have a microphone when you speak. Go ahead, Mark.
Welcome, all new members.
Turn it on.
Got a couple of announcements.
Yo, turn it on, my brother.
Testing.
No, okay, take mine. I'll figure it out. I'll fix that when you talk about it. It's on.
Good evening and welcome to all the new members. So I got a couple updates. Number one, I'm very involved in composting, so I usually give updates about composting. First, I just want to thank anybody here from Councilmember Schulman or any of the council members' offices. We'd just like to thank the council for prioritizing community composting in their budget. The mayor proposed totally cutting community composting, but then the council's responded to that budget this week and basically has made one of their priorities to try to get it back in the budget. So we're very appreciative of council members who did that. Also last month, Community Board 6 passed a composting resolution, again asking the mayor to restore the budget for community composting. And this was shared with by something called the Queens Solid Waste Board, which is the SWAB, and as a template for asking the rest of the Queens community boards to pass similar resolutions. And Matt Salton is our representative on the SWAB, and he's indicated that the SWAB is actually discussing trying to get other community boards to pass a similar resolution. Now some sad news. Due to those cuts, the food scrap drop-off sites run by Grow NYC, which locally includes the farmers market, and the Forest Hills Green Team runs a site by Common Point every Sunday. They will be closing May 19th. So no more community composting here in our community. Grow NYC is going to be closing all their sites by May 19th. And even if the budget cuts to community composting are restored, which we're advocating for, also sadly, the big reuse is being kicked off their Queensbridge composting site by Parks. They will be holding a press conference on Sunday, April 19th regarding this issue. If you want to hear more about this issue, you can email me at fhgtinc@gmail.com. So next item, the Forest Hills Green Team, Queens Community Project, New York Communities for Change, Food and Water Watch, NYPIRG are sponsoring a paddle on Thursday, April 11th at the First Presbyterian Church of Forest Hills at 7 p.m. to discuss Local Law 97, what it does, why we need it, and how it works. I'll share the flyer with the office. There will be a second panel on Thursday, April 18th at 7 o'clock in Jackson Heights at the Community United Methodist Church. Following up on the very successful cleanup along Metropolitan Avenue, our own CB6, in partnership with the Forest Hills Green Team, Metro Village, Senator Adabo, Assemblymember Hevesi, and Councilmember Shulman will be having another cleanup on Sunday, April 14th from 10 a.m. to noon, meet in front of Agua Chocolates. All supplies will be provided. And finally, a personal note. I've been appointed to serve as a delegate to the Borough President Donovan Richards Queens General Assembly for the 2024 session. We have a number of CB6 members who are also on the General Assembly. This intercultural dialogue project is the only one of its kind operating out of Borough President's office and is now entering its 21st year. Our focus is on promoting dialogue and building solidarity among diverse stakeholders from around the borough. My responsibilities include co-facilitating meetings, attending events at the Borough President's office, getting to know communities beyond my own, and working on community action projects with my fellow QJA delegates, alumni, and advisors. So I'm really honored to have got this appointment. So that's it. Thank you.
Effie's going to give us a little update on, he is a designated member to the panel on education policies. He's going to give us a quick update on things happening in the Department of Education.
I'm going to be brief. So tomorrow there's a CEC District 28 meeting. That's very much affecting our immediate area. On April 11th, there's a PEP meeting, the Panel for Educational Policy, which is basically the Board of Education with a different name. Taking place at John Brown High School. That's on Main Street, not too far from here. That's in Queens. We don't often meet in Queens, so that's April 11th. And then on April 17th, there's a PEP meeting in Brooklyn, and in which we're going to discuss the fair student funding, which is the biggest component actually of what schools get in terms of their funding. So that's going to be a big discussion. There's more details, but that's the gist of it.
Thank you. If you do have kids in the public schools in this district and you are interested in what is happening at the schools, to sign up to receive emails from the CEC, you can sign up at CEC28 CEC28 at schools.nyc.gov. And one more announcement, in 2 weeks from tonight, the Precinct Council will be holding their monthly meeting for information on location, because sometimes they do it remotely, sometimes they do it in person. And usually Heidi Chang makes this announcement. She's a board member, but she's not here this evening. Her email address, the email to connect to that meeting is council, COUNCIL 112 @yahoo.com. Okay, so I think that's all of our good and welfare for tonight. I just want to make sure. Okay, excellent. And now we're going to move into the public comment period of our meeting. Individual speakers from Community Board 6 get 3 minutes. Organization representatives from Community Board 6 get 5. Individual speakers outside of CB6 get 2 minutes, and organization representatives outside of CB6 gets 3 minutes. Tonight, we have 4, which I think is the lowest number of public speakers we've had in an age. So not gonna jinx it, kind of loving it. So we have 4 speakers. Peter Beadle will be our timekeeper for this evening. He will let the speakers know when they have 30 seconds remaining. I will call up our first person, who is someone very familiar to us, Martin Levinson. Nice to have you again this evening. Come on down.
Hello, everybody. I think we've met before. I think I'll be the representative.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So he'll get 5.
Take that microphone from Mark so that everybody can hear you. And hold it like an ice cream cone.
So, good evening, members of Queens Community Board 6. You heard I'm Marty Levinson, a member of the Concerned Citizens of Forest Hills. And once again, I'm here to remind you, as if you needed reminding, of the negative impact the stadium concerts are having on our community, and what you as a community board can do. And you can do something. I personally am not here to ask that you stop the concerts. That's not why I'm here. That has never been my aim, and I never asked that the concerts be stopped. What are our main concerns, however? They include excessive and harmful noise, not observing a 10 p.m. curfew on occasion, the number of concerts, traffic, events lasting for more than 4 hours, and events scheduled on religious holidays and school nights. Community board members, as an individual, you know I cannot place an item on your agenda. That requires a vote, but you can. One item might be the volume is too loud. For example, you could in a resolution request that the mayor mandate that noise from the stadium that exceeds the legal decibel level found in the New York City noise code, that inspectors from the Department of Environmental Protection issued the appropriate fines and citations. As a matter of fact, some people have proposed that code violators are basically performers, that if they exceed any of the code requirements, that like the Department of Health does with filthy restaurants, they just padlock and the equipment. What is controversial about mandating a 10 p.m. curfew? Isn't this the rule of performance in New York City parks? Could you pass a resolution that no concerts be scheduled on religious holidays? Is that wrong? Is that controversial? Now I get to more contentious issues. The number of concerts. Is there no limit on the number of concerts? A few summers ago, there were under a dozen. This season, there are almost 30 events planned. 30 events in a season, 30 events is excessive, and 30 events some people think is freedom. These events often make our life unbearable. There are road closures, traffic jams, people urinating on our lawns and driveways, and at the end of the concerts, which supposedly end at 10, until midnight, people are honking their horns and screaming on the streets. Queensborough President Richards is quoted on March 18th in the Queens Daily Eagle as follows: "The concerts aren't going anywhere, so we have to find a way to get everybody to work together." That's a lofty thought when faced with a promoter who threatens to schedule more concerts to pay for his legal bills incurred from defending against the 2 current lawsuits. Isn't it sad that some of these issues have to play out in the New York State Supreme Court? Last May, according to the Gothamist, a letter was sent to the NYPD from the community board praising the promoters' contributions to the community. Could we respectfully impose upon you to send a letter to the mayor expressing our concerns? And to our elected officials, are you only focused on money for the concert promoter, for an elite tennis club? Don't you care about our neighbors? And finally, a note: hundreds of residents have signed a petition demanding an end to the concerts. These are active, motivated, and angry local voters. They vote. Board members, thank you for serving on this community board. Thank you all for listening. Thank you very much.
Can I clarify one thing? You said 2 lawsuits. Now, my understanding is concerned citizens dropped their lawsuit. Is that correct?
No, they did not drop the lawsuit, they sent them out of the case.
They sent a modification. Thank you for clarifying that for us.
It's going to clear and on our website.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay. Appreciate that. All right. Next up, we have David Kupferberg. David, come on down. David came very prepared tonight. He delivered some very detailed work. So I'm very interested to see what you have to say.
My name is David Kupferberg, and I am the Vice President of Bus Advocacy, Passengers United. I believe that how to determine if a bus network redesign is a success or failure is local riders and how they are treated as part of the redesign effort. As per MTA's presentation, 17% of riders would lose their bus stop. This is unacceptable and won't help the MTA in the Title VI case. After all, 17% of the Queens population is 386,000. The Q11 via Woodhaven Boulevard is proposed to absorb the Q21 by serving western Lindenwood and doing a round robin via Old Howard Beach and Hamilton Beach. Unfortunately, service in the eastern Linwood is proposed to be eliminated. Locally elected officials wish for the Q11 to be split into 2 branches, one via eastern Lindenwood, the current path, and the other via western Lindenwood, the MTA's proposed path. This is wishful thinking, as the Q11 would serve less of both sides of the neighborhood. I think that the Q11 from the new draft plan should be resurrected and called the Q81, with 3-legged transfers for Q11 riders. The purpose of the Q23's current route path in Corona is to connect with the 7 train. This, however, had the historical misintent of the creation of a service gap along 108th Street. The MTA's proposed Q14 would mitigate some of the negative impacts. Although the MTA is proposing to operate the Q23 overnight, service would be truncated to the 103rd Street Corona Plaza station. This change does not have community support. The Q23 would continue to serve should continue to serve East Elmhurst, but be streamlined via the 100th Street and serve the 111th Street station. Why couldn't the Q55 is proposed to be extended to the 121st Street station? Unfortunately, there is nowhere in the area to effectively turn buses. The MT may wish to go back to what was proposed in the new draft plan with the Q54 via Hillside Avenue. Yes, there was some community opposition, but the intersection of Metropolitan Avenue and Jamaica Avenue has been pedestrianized. As such, bus service is deteriorated. What was proposed in the new draft plan was not a perfect solution, but was the best solution. QM12, QM42 service south of Forest Hills may have low ridership now, but this could change if congestion pricing is implemented. Should this segment still have low ridership as per the MTA New York City Transit Service Guidelines Manual with documentation, then it could be eliminated. We must all work together to have better bus service for Queens. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And just as a note on the Queens Bus redesign, they are going to be hosting the MTA a session here. Okay. It will be in the Friday email with the details, but it will be at Helen Marshall. They will be talking to people in the community from I think 5-ish to about 8-something-ish. All the details will be in the flyer, but it will be here at Helen Marshall on, I believe, May 9th. So for those interested in following up on that, that would be great. But understand that what they will be sharing is exactly what they shared with us. Now for the new members, you haven't seen it yet, so that might be a good opportunity to kind of brush up on sort of the changes that are being made to the Queens Bus redesign. Okay, next. Yes, and you can go to the website for the MTA. And next up is Paul Sapienza.
Hello.
Hi, Paul. And since you're out of district, you'll get 2 minutes.
That's not a problem, I'm gonna be real quick, hopefully
Okay.
less.
Do you want me to hold that for you?
Well,
Should I play Vanna? I don't mind,
Do it
but yeah,
this
the
way.
good Lord only gave you 2 hands.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I?
Yeah, you're good.
Hi, my name is Paul Sapienza, and I just came to give you an FYI.
Hold up. They're not, you're holding sideways.
Oh.
So it's like your shoulder's talking.
Okay, I'm here to give you an FYI on a project I'm working on. There is a plaque dedicated to the World War II dead from Astoria that I'm trying to have restored. It originally resided in the front yard of my ancestral home in Astoria. The plaque, before and after a little restoration and cleanup, this is what it looks like, and it has 18 servicemen on it, okay? I have been compiling information about the men on the plaque, where they served, what division, how they died, and so forth, where they may be buried. So I'm trying to work on that to get a database. What I'd like to do is get the plaque rededicated to some public place in Astoria. Now, it may be a little premature to ask for your support at this time, but one of the reasons why I came here, there was a reporter from the Forest Hills Regal Park Times on March 7th who ran a 2-page article about this project. You could read it for yourself. It's on their website. They asked me why I was in touch with the Forest Hills American Legion Hall, and I'll be speaking there Monday. And I advised them that unfortunately the VFW Hall in Astoria is kind of inactive. And I reached out to them because I misidentified Forest Hills as where I used to be the chair of Community Board 9 as being in my district. It's not. It's in CB6, and I have wanted to come here to apologize to all of you to misrepresenting that. Okay? And this is a picture of one of the gentlemen on the plaque, and I found a tombstone in Long Island of one of the men on the plaque. Again, my desire is to establish a database so that if this plaque is put back on display, not only can you read the names, but you can then go to a website and read about them, so not only do they live through speaking their name, but they come to life. And that's what I came to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And our last and final speaker is Louis Basilberry from Fairview Apartment Building. Okay, so he'll get 3 minutes. Nice to meet you.
Hello. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of Community Board 6, concerned neighbors, and attending officials. I am Louis Basilberry, a resident of 6120 Grand Central Parkway, and I stand before you today deeply troubled by several critical issues impacting the safety and quality of life in our community. The illegal parking of 18-wheelers along the Horace Harding Expressway, near Colonial Avenue and throughout Grand Central Parkway Service Road, present significant safety hazards to our neighborhood. The trucks not only obstruct the view of oncoming traffic, but also violate designated no standing zones, especially near corners, school zones, and expressway exits. According to New York City traffic rules, commercial vehicles are expressly prohibited from parking overnight or for extended periods on city streets without permission. These trucks not only pose a hazard, but also consume valuable parking spots, exacerbating the challenges faced by our community, particularly after the implementation of bike lanes. Speaking of which, the installation of bike lanes across from our building represents a stark example of poorly planned infrastructure, seemingly prioritizing political expediency over thorough research and consideration for community safety and convenience. The reduction of the street from our street from 2 lanes to 1 has resulted in loss of numerous parking spots, causing significant inconvenience for 421 apartments, some of whom have been on parking lists for over 2 decades. This change not only inconveniences residents, but also creates hazardous conditions, particularly during snowstorms, and compounds traffic congestion, jeopardizing the safety of emergency vehicles and trucks turning from Horace Harding Expressway. Therefore, we demand that officials reevaluate the bike lanes to help us find solutions for parking challenges while maintaining safety for all road users. Furthermore, our community has been plagued by incidents of car burglaries, break-ins, thefts, vandalism, further eroding our sense of security and well-being. Criminals have even felt emboldened to tag our property with graffiti, adding to the deterioration of the neighborhood. The unbearable noise emanating from Flashing Meadows Park adds to our concerns, violating city noise codes and disturbing our peace and tranquility. We acknowledge that addressing the noise issue falls under the jurisdiction of the 110 precinct, but we urge collaboration between local precincts and officials to tackle these challenges effectively. Another pressing concern is the is the negligent conduct of the Department of Environmental Protection, particularly evident during the Hurricane Ida in 2021. Our properties suffered devastating losses, including the tragic loss of life and extensive structural damage amounting to nearly $20 million. Due to the DEP's failure to adequately maintain sewage infrastructure, despite being tasked with this responsibility after the Department of Sanitation, the DEP has exhibited alarming neglect, as evidenced by records showing a lack of maintenance for nearly 10 years. And that's my last point. So thanks everyone for your attention, and hopefully we'll work together to.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this will close our public portion of the meeting, the public forum of the meeting. This is where we start our business meeting, and this is where, so the public's opportunity to speak and participate in this meeting is now closed, and this then becomes our business meeting. The public always does stay. The public does observe as long as they can endure, and we're grateful to have the public here tonight. So just to sort of explain that if the public does want to pitch in and say something at this point, if we shut them down, it's not that we're trying to be rude, it's just that this is how our meetings are structured. Okay, so each of you should have gotten an envelope with the minutes in it. Are there any issues or concerns with the minutes this month? Excellent. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as written?
So moved.
Okay, I get Mark. Can I get a second? Okay, LT as a second. All in favor, say aye of accepting the minutes, and all opposed say no. Okay, great. The minutes have been adopted. Okay, so the next thing is, if you haven't checked in with Barbara tonight for attendance, please do so. It's important because we like to have really good attendance records. And then I'm going to jump into my chair's report for this month. It's been 15 days, really, it's 15 business days since our last meeting, because we had it at a different time in March, and now we're having to have it a little earlier in April. But since that time, during that time, we have been very busy and productive. And there's a few things to highlight. Due to redistricting, we have a few new council members in our community district. And over the past 2 weeks, we had a chance, myself and Christine, to meet with Councilmember Holden and their staff, and Councilmember Gennaro and his staff. And so I wanted to share a few key takeaways from those meetings. We met with Councilmember Holden, and during our meeting, we discussed a variety of concerns in Rego Park. Issues like the Rego Park Library project and the traffic on 63rd Drive. We discussed the need for a temporary library spot. Up until this point, because the library is going to go under construction for several years, and we know that people in this community use that library for a variety of things, not just books. And right now, the project is scoped out to provide us just with a bookmobile for a couple of years. So we talked to him about the need for a temporary library spot. He is committed to working with us to find a temporary library spot for the duration of the project. He talked to us about a similar project that they did in his community, where they had a temporary library over at the Atlas Center Mall, while some work was being done at a local library. So he is open to doing that. So that's really good news. And his support will come with funding for that particular place. So that will be great. We just have to find a place. So that's going to be our challenge, because one of the things that happens on 63rd Drive is the rent is so much better than Austin Street. So we find a lot of turnover. So if a business closes, give it 2 months and there's another one in there. So we're gonna have to keep our eyes and ears open on that. And the other thing we talked about was, of course, the traffic challenges on 63rd Drive, specifically between Austin and Alderton. There's a very popular market over there that really does wonderful business. And in doing so, of course, you get double parked cars, you get cars doing illegal U-turns on a very busy street. And so they're gonna try to troubleshoot that, see what they can do in the idea of maybe providing some more loading zones and other things to sort of help support the business, but also kind of ease some traffic over there. So he's going to be looking into that for us, which is really, really great. We also had a really informative discussion regarding the transitional shelter that will be in his part of the district that we expect to open in the 4th quarter of this year. Now, when we met with Councilmember Gennaro. Most of that meeting was really spent, as you would expect, talking about the shelter across the street that's expected to open at on 93rd. And as a note, we just learned that the shelter is scheduled to open on the 15th of May. So now we actually not just have a month, we actually have a day that it will open. And it was a very beneficial conversation. He is in conversations with DSS and the mayor's office to talk about different components of the project and kind of share his perspective, potentially making a few alterations to maybe who resides there, not changing it from male to female, but what the composition of males looks like. For example, there was a shelter in his district at one point that he actually was able to get it to be, because there was a need for a shelter for 55 men, 55 and older. So that's just an example of one way that you can kind of still have an all-male shelter, but sort of work uniquely with who resides there. So he is in discussions and they will loop back with us. But both of these council members have had different types of experiences with shelters in their districts. It was a beneficial conversation. We were able to learn an awful lot on sort of like what has worked, what hasn't worked, things to be looking out for, because this will be the first time that our community district has had a shelter. So those conversations were really helpful, and we're continuing to have these conversations. So before I jump into the next part of my report, I just want to see if there's any questions before I move on. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes. Interestingly enough, the 112 precinct also presides over part of this district, and he shared concerns with the 112 and the fact that there's continued parking in the slip lane on Yellowstone, and that they would like he's going to try to see what he can do to deter parking in that particular area, because when they do park there, it does create a lot of traffic, specifically during rush hour, sometimes all the way back to Fleet, and so because it's problematic for like traffic coming from Woodhaven trying to head towards Jewel. And so the hope is that we can continue. They have improved greatly over the past several months, but it's still not where it needs to be, so that we can fully utilize that slip lane that was designed for traffic relief. So he's going to try to see what he can do to kind of help us out with that, even though that physically does not land in his district. Yes?
Just for clarification, for those who were not familiar with the 112.
Can we get her a microphone? Here.
I know,
No, and your voice is kind of like tired because you've probably been talking all day, I'm guessing. Okay, go ahead.
Just for clarification, for those who don't know where the 112th is, can you give us specific
Yeah,
streets?
The
Let us
112
know,
precinct
please?
is located on on the corner of Yellowstone and Austin Street. It's catty corner. Yeah, it's catty corner to Russell Sage. So that's where the precinct is, and the slip lane we're talking about is specifically on Yellowstone as you're coming from Fleet Street or coming from like Woodhaven Boulevard down. It's on your right-hand side, so it provides relief because it creates a lane for folks turning right onto Austin Street. Okay, Bruce?
But there are roadblocks in the slip lane,
Yes, there are, but sometimes they get moved.
and I'm sure.
And I would take your word for it because you actually live like literally smack dab around the corner. Effie?
So months ago, we discussed using the empty plot of land that's like
Yes.
a bit close to the police house. Any idea what's going on with that?
Nothing's going on with that. It was a fine idea. The idea was to take one of the, if you walk down Austin Street, if you walk from Yellowstone down Austin Street, like you're walking towards Continental, there's 2 empty lots that are gravelled, and they have chicken wire, well, not chicken wire, but looks like fancy chicken wire around it. And the hope was that the city, because one of them was up for sale, that the city might consider purchasing it and just using it as a parking garage for the 112, which would probably alleviate over 100 parking spaces. But again, that didn't go anywhere. It was part of our budget priority work. We can examine it again this time around when we do the budget priority work in the next couple of months. But it's a fine idea, but it's literally dead. Yes.
To give you an update, that land now
Mhm.
has fence enclosures.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not open where it was before.
Okay.
It's
So maybe
totally
somebody has bought it.
closed off. There are
Yeah.
fence enclosures for that.
Thank you for that. Okay, so the next thing I want to jump into is really quick is I'm going to talk about Brentley. I just want to give congratulations to Brentley Winstead as he joins Gladys Sandoval in co-leading the Consumer Affairs Committee. Congratulations, Brentley. He's filling a gap because Beatrice Leong has moved on. Her business is growing and busting at the seams, and so that baby needs a little bit more attention. So we're sorry to not have her, but we're thrilled to have Brentley. Also to all committee chairs. Please save the date of April the 16th for our all chairs meeting to discuss the budget setting process for this upcoming year. We're going to keep it to 1 hour. It's going to be virtual. We're going to make a few changes this year. We are working to get rid of that awful Google form. We've heard it. We know you hate it. You hate it. You hate it. I dig it. So we're working on that. So we will have that meeting, and you'll be getting information on that shortly for the 16th of April. Now, an update on the hiring process. Okay, for new members. In December, our district manager retired. We are currently conducting a search for a new district manager. The resumes for this search must be submitted via certified mail. You heard that right, certified mail to our office, care of Job Search, and to our office address on Metropolitan. They must be postmarked, not received, postmarked by April 11th. And the hiring team will be reviewing these resumes by the end of April, and they will begin holding first round interviews the first week of May. Our goal is to have a candidate to submit to the board for final vote at our June 5 meeting. And I just wanted to quickly let you know, for sake of transparency, who is on our hiring team. Our hiring team is a combination of executive committee members, personnel, and we have one member at large. So our hiring team consists of Peter Beadle, our first vice chair, Keith Engel, second vice chair, Mark Laster, third vice chair, Sal Labadia, our Secretary of Administration, John Jaroszewski, our parliamentarian, L.T. Ciaccio, our Secretary of Finance, and she's also chair of our Finance and Personnel Committee, Brentley Winstead, who's a member of our Personnel Committee, Ephraim Zachary, Personnel Committee, David Aronoff, Personnel Committee, David Shantz, Personnel Committee, and Marcel Lashley-Kabor has the great distinction of being our member at large. So this is our committee. This committee is representative of every single committee on this board. We made sure that we had a board that, a hiring team that was highly representative. It represents every single police sector in this district. It represents multiple school zones. It represents people who have been on the board for 1 year, people who have been on the board for about 20 years. So it's a wide range of people. If you have any questions about this, ask them now. Any questions about the hiring process at this point? Great, I'll give you an update when we're back together in May. Hopefully, I'll have some other things to share. I'm just wanting to let you all know that on the 14th of April, we will be tabling at the 112 Precinct Street Fair on the southbound Queens Boulevard. And I believe that is it. So I'm gonna turn this now over to Christine Nolan.
Hello everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Christine Nolan, and I have been kind of filling in since Frank retired in December. I just wanted to point out our other staff that you have met. Barbara in the back, she checked you all in, and Maria is here taking minutes. Reach out to the office and speak to any of us if you have questions. After this meeting is over, you may have questions for the new people. Feel free to call us and ask us questions. If you see something in the community that doesn't look right, give us a call and we'll look into it for you. I just wanted to let the whole board know that we are waiting for the next portion of City of Yes, the housing portion of it. We are hoping that that comes soon, but we did receive a call from Dan Gorodnik, who is the director of the Department of City Planning, thanking the community board for all of our hard work on the last portion of City of Yes. It was a lot of proposals, 18 I think, and he personally thanked, I'm sure, all the community board members that put in all the hard work, because we didn't just vote on it as one block. We went through every single proposal and gave comments to be helpful and try to help them with their process. So the Department of City Planning appreciates that, and they wanted me to relay the information to you that, thank you for your hard work. It doesn't go unnoticed, and there's more hard work to come, right, Keith? Next, I just want to remind everybody that as of March 1st, all businesses had to containerize their trash. So that means that when they put their trash out for collection, it must be in a container. It can't be in a bunch of bags on the curb. It has to be in a container. Sanitation was giving warnings. As of April 1st, they started giving summonses. So if you see locations on Queens Boulevard that are still putting out trash bags, let us know. We don't want them to get a summons, but we need people to comply with the law, otherwise it doesn't work. So if sanitation can go out and speak to them, and maybe there's an issue, maybe there's a reason why they're not containerizing, maybe sanitation can work with them and try to make it better for the community. So if you see these businesses out there that are not containerizing, let us know. Or if you know a business owner that's having difficulties, put them in touch with us and we'll try to connect them with sanitation. The last thing I have on, which is also sanitation, is on April 22nd, they will have extra collection trucks out for Passover collection. So if you have anything to put out, you can put it out on the night of April 21st. The trucks will be out collecting on April 22nd, anything that you put out for Passover. So they will be out till approximately 2 p.m. Anybody have any questions? Martha, go ahead. For the Passover collection, you can put out trash or recycling. They'll be collecting both, yes. Friendly?
Can we get him a microphone?
So for the businesses that are attached to apartment buildings, are they required to have containers?
Yeah, so if it's mixed, like a mixed use property and it's commercial, like on one floor and upstairs is residential, is that what you mean?
Yeah, so like for instance, my building, we have a few businesses in the bottom, but I've never seen containers outside, so I'm just trying to.
Well, they may put them out, like sometimes the private carters come very late at night or very early in the morning, so they may, if they're open late, they may put them out, I don't know how late you're out, Brentley, but, but technically every business must containerize. We have had some issues where residences are getting summonses because the sanitation department thinks it's business trash, and it's actually residential trash. Like on Metropolitan Avenue, they have businesses on the first floor, residents upstairs. The residents put their trash out in front of the business, and we have had some issues, but sanitation is working on, informing their people that this is residential trash and not commercial trash. But yes, they are supposed to containerize. If you see trash bags out and you don't think they're from the apartment building, you can let us know, or we could ask sanitation to go out and speak to them and just make sure that it's not the businesses that are putting the trash out. But every business in New York City should be using containers.
This does not apply to
No, no.
Does this apply, or will apply to residential properties, or just
It will at some, right now it's just businesses. They haven't released the residential portion of it, but at some point they, I think, plan to have residential containerization as well. But at this point it's just businesses. And we will keep you guys informed when that comes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Christine. I just want to supplement something that Christine had mentioned, in that if you see something in the community, before you call the office, call 311. Because then what happens is 311, you get a number. And then when you call the office, you give the office the number, and they can help facilitate and kind of push it along a little bit. So that's just the procedure. It's if you see something, first call 311, get the complaint number, and then you can call up the office.
All right, thanks, Mark. Anybody else? Okay, I'll turn it back over to Heather. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. All right, so we wanted to take a moment tonight to sort of welcome new board members. And part of the welcome, we had a chair of our board for, oh my goodness, from 1996, I think, until 2019. He had been chair, and one of the things that he said routinely at the beginning of every season where we would get new members, he would say this: you have one responsibility, not to yourself, but to the community. When you vote, make sure you vote for your community. It's a commitment that you've made to the city. And in conversations that I've had, and that was from our late chair, Joseph Hennessy, in conversations I've had with Borough Hall, they say, we appoint these people for one of the most important things, and it's to vote on all of these things that come before you. So that is, so when he's talking about this, he's talking about how to contextualize your thinking when you have to vote, because we all live on streets that are different and unique, and what might work for your street might for the overall not be the best decision. So it's always important to not just consider the part, but to consider how the part affects the whole. So I'm just sharing that tonight as something that, you know, has been ingrained in this board by Joe Hennessy for a very long time. So I wanted to take a moment tonight for us to go around the room quickly, and so I'm going to keep this simple, is to just share your name, share which community you live in, whether it be Regal Park, Forest Hills, or one of our other communities. We have a few that we have a little snippet of. And then so share your name, the community, and what year you moved to the community. And that potentially could be the year you were born here. So I'll go first, and then we're just gonna pass this mic around the room. And I will tell you that my name is Heather Dimitriadis. I live in Regal Park. I live on what I call the zipper, because if I move to the right, I'm literally in Forest Hills. Like literally the building right next to mine has a Forest Hills zip code, so I feel like I live on the zipper. And I moved to this community in 2000.
Thank you. I'm Keith Engel. I am a Forest Hills resident. I've been in this neighborhood on and off since '94. Officially moved here about 5 years ago. I'm also the chair of the Land Use and Housing Committee, and yeah, welcome to all new members.
Thanks, Keith. Hi, I'm Peter Beadle. I live over in Rego Park, just off of 63rd Drive. So I'm the first vice chair, sort of a chair without portfolio. My main job is to both support the activities of the chair and the board, and also I want to be there as a resource for you all. If you have questions about how do I do this, how do I get things going in my committee, you should always speak to your chairs. Heather has an open door policy, but you're also very welcome to reach out to me. My email is qnscb6vicechair1@gmail, and you're more than welcome to shoot me an email if you have any questions about how things are done. I'm also the chair of our Transportation, Street Safety, and Transit Committee. So if you have any issues on any of those kinds of things happening in your neighborhood, feel free to give me a ring. And really what Mark was saying about 311, this is universal. So if you see anything in the community, it's a pothole, it's a building not doing its things right, there's a tree that's fallen down, 311 first, get the SR, the service request number, call the office, and then they can follow up and make sure things are done. But welcome all of our new members. It's wonderful to have you here. I'll hang out a little bit late at the end of the meeting as well, and you're welcome to come up with any questions that you have. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Mark Laster, and I live in Regal Park. I've lived in Regal Park for 35 years. I'm the third vice chair. So the third vice chair is responsible, Heather alluded to something called our budget priority process. And I guess the reason why I think it's so important, I know when people join community boards, a lot of people are focused on, Keith is our second vice chair, and he oversees our zoning process. To me, next to zoning, budget priorities are important. That's how we communicate to the city what we see as our priorities. So as Heather's alluded to, we've kind of opened up the process the past few years. So you're going to be, I think the next couple months, you're going to be appointed to some committees, and each committee will be reviewing the budget priorities from last year and then updating them. So, but then I'm responsible as the third vice chair. I work closely with Heather on this, and we basically make recommendations to the city and what the budget priority should be. So, and again, I've been on the board since 2016, so please, I'll be more than happy to hang out too afterwards if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Good evening to the new members. My name is Howard. I was appointed in 2021. I lived in Queens since 1962, and I'm a board member, and I'm on Transportation Committee. Any questions? You could ask me. Thank you.
He has a perfect memory of all dates and meetings. It's coming so handy more than one. Thank you.
And he catches everybody's mistakes.
Hi, my name is Anissa Ayon. I'm my term with the community board. I live in Regal Park since 19 67. Okay, and I'm member of the aging and social service, transportation, and Quiz Link, and what's the other one? Oh, and land.
You're so busy, you can't remember them.
Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Samir. I'm a resident of Forest Hill since 2010. I'm super happy to be part of this. Really, really excited. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Martha Tucker. I grew up in Forest Hills. I raised a child in Forest Hills. I was very active in my community in Kiwanis, fundraisers for Our Lady of Mercy, worked with the DNC. I've done a lot, and my biggest pride is just being on the community board. I've been here for, I think, maybe 3 or 4 years. You know, it was during COVID, so I don't really know the years, but I appreciate every opportunity to have to serve, and currently the chair of the Libraries and Cultural Arts Committee, and I just love just watching the evolution, participating in the evolution of our community, and just working together so that we can all have just a wonderful life in Forest Hills and Rego Park. And I really believe that's the community board is for. So I embrace my role, and I embrace new members. Thank you, and I look forward to your service.
I'm Matt Solon. I've lived in Forest Hills since 2022, and I chair the Environment and Sanitation Committee.
Hi, my name is Mike Arcadi. I've been here 7 years. I'm the chair of the Veterans Committee, and my goal is to keep this meeting under 90 minutes.
It's tough to follow that one. My name is Salwa Baida. I am a resident of Forest Hills, and I've lived here since 2017. I showed up pregnant to this community, and now I have an almost 7-year-old. What is happening? I know. Thank you for that. And so I'm also on the Public Relations and Social Media Committee, as well as the Transportation, Public Transit, and Safety Committee as well. Welcome to all the new members.
Good evening. My name is Joy Pratt, and I am a new member. I am a resident. Thank you. I am a resident of Forest Hills. I moved into the area. I first moved into Rego Park, and then I moved into Forest Hills, and I've been living here since 2017.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the new members. Dan Rakhneyev. I've been part of this board for, I believe, also the last 3 years. And I'm also co-chair of the Health, Mental Health, Substance Use Committee, and our family's been here since 1975.
Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Pinkowska. I am a new member as well. I live in Forest Hills, and I just moved here about a year ago. I lived in Naspeth for most of my life. If you like community gardening, I'm on the Forest Hills Community Garden, and I'm also a super steward of Flushing Meadows Corona Park. So I'm usually organizing cleanups and just invasive species removals on the Pat Dolan Trail.
Hi, my name is Jessica Perrin. I'm also a new member. I moved here in 2018, and I look forward to joining some of the committees.
Hi, my name is Amit Pratap Shah, and I'm in the Queen since 2007, but moved to the Rego Park in 2020, and I'm also the new member. So good to see everyone. Thank you.
Hi, friends. I'm Marcel Ashley Kabori. I've been on the board for a year now. It's my anniversary, everybody. It's everybody's anniversary. I've been in the district 20 years. I used to live right behind Borough Hall, and then I bought my place 12 years ago at the end of Austin Street and Woodhaven Boulevard. And some might think that that's Rego Park, but that is Elmhurst. So I'm the Elmhurst member of the board.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eugene Schwartzman. I live in Forest Hills. I actually live down the street from Eddie's Sweet Shop, which is very, very hard to resist. I've lived in the neighborhood since 2017, and I'm looking forward to serving on the board.
Hello, my name is Jean Silver. I've been here almost 50 years. I'm originally from Brooklyn, but I can't say that anymore because now I've been here longer. I'm a co-chair on the Parks Committee. I've been with Community Board 6 since 2012. Also, I'm president of Flushing Meadow Garden Park Conservancy. So don't forget the parks.
First of all, congratulations, all the new members. Very enthusiastic. Wait for the next 3 meetings and then you'll get back to me. Anyway, I'm just kidding. This is my second. This is my second tour. Yeah, this is my second tour duty. So I originally served from 1982 to 2011. I reappointed last year. I'm on the Consumer Affairs Committee and Personnel Committee. So they call the Consumer Affairs Committee the fun committee. We need more members on the Consumer Affairs Committee. Okay, so we have a good group here, very open. Any questions, reach out to everybody.
We do need one.
Hi everyone, welcome again to all the new members. My name is Edwin Wong. I've been in Forest Hills since 2005. My family's been in Queens for over 50 years. I'm serving my 5th term, 10th year with now Library and Cultural, as well as Veteran Affairs and Public Service. What else do we need to do? I think that's it, right? And I second Mike's 90-minute rule. Thank you.
Thanks, Edwin. My name is Kevin Lee. I bought my place in 2016 in Forest Hills, and I joined the community board in 2020.
Good evening. My name is Kavish Batra. I live in Rego Park. I was born in Flushing, so I've been here for 28 years, Rego Park. I co-chair the Parks Committee with Jean Silva, and congratulations to everybody that the new members.
Hi everyone, my name is Gladys Sandoval. I've been in Forest Hills for the past 2 years since I bought my place, but prior to that I was for 16 years in Rego Park. So I've been in the community for a very long time. I've been on the board for 3 years. This is my 4th year actually, and I am the co-chair of the Consumer Affairs Committee with Franklin, and also I'm part of the Land Use Committee. Welcome everyone.
Hello, my name is Pedro Rodriguez. I am a new member of the board. However, I have been a public member of the Transportation Committee for about 2 years. So 3rd time's the charm. I finally got in. I've lived I grew up in the Bronx when I moved to the country in 2003. Then I moved to Queens, and then I moved to Forest Hills on the right side, on the Forest Hills side of the zipper, in 2019, and I've just been getting more and more involved with the community ever since. Thank you.
Hi, I'm also a new member. I'm Sabah Mover. I live in Rego Park, and I moved to Rego Park in 2020.
Hi everyone, just welcome again. My name is Brentley Winstead. I've been in Forest Hills since 2021, and I'm going to my 3rd year on the board. Just got reappointed. And I co-chair Consumer Affairs with Gladys. I'm also on Mental Health and Substance Abuse Committee, as well as Personnel and Finance. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tamara Gabriella. I'm a new member. We immigrated here in 1980 to Forest Hills. I live in Rego Park. I have to echo Heather. I'm across the street from Forest Hills right now, but I live in Rego Park. It's crazy. But yeah, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to all the new members. My name is David Aronoff. I live in Forest Hills. I grew up in Forest Hills, then moved to Briarwood, and back to Forest Hills since 2020.
Welcome all the new members. Did we say we have 12? Well, so the dirty dozen? I don't know what you should do. So, no, the clean dozen. I'm Effie Zachary. I moved to Forest Hills a little over 30 years ago. Then I moved to Rego Park, and then I moved back to Forest Hills. So I've been in the area for quite a while. I'm on the Veterans Affairs Committee, on the Finance and Personnel Committee, and on the Education and Youth committee, and regarding education, I'm also on the Queens representative on the panel for educational policy, which is basically the Board of Education. So if you need to know something about what's going on in the city about education, I'm probably not a bad person to ask. I don't know everything, but I probably know a lot more than your average city dweller. Thank you for coming.
Well, congratulations to all the new members and to all the people who have been reappointed. My name is Bruce Grossberg. I live in Forest Hills. I moved to Forest Hills in 1983. I've lived all over the place. I've lived in Briarwood. I've lived in different places in Forest Hills, but I'm here. I was in my fourth term, not consecutive, on the board, which means I had to leave the board, ask to come back, and then they had to accept me again, which I'm still kind of funny about. And I'm the chair of the Aging, Social Services, and Disability Committee. I also serve on the Transportation Committee and on the Laws and Bylaws Committee. Once again, congratulations, you're in for a good time, I think.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm a new member. My name is Edgar Alfonseca. I moved here into Forest Hills in 2021. I was born and raised in Astoria. And I live now with my beautiful wife and 2-year-old in Forest Hills. And I'm really excited to be here. And yeah, just thank you for welcoming us.
Hi, good evening. Robert Ash, 20 years Queens resident, 5 years in Forest Hills. New member and avid runner. So if you see me in the streets at 5 a.m., group of runners, that's me every morning, 5 a.m. Thank you. Look forward to meeting you all.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julia Davila. I am a Forest Hills resident as well. I'm a new member, and I've been in Forest Hills for almost 15 years, and thank you for the welcoming.
Hi, Altia Chachio. I live on the Zipper, and I moved here in 2003.
Okay, can we do the post here? Can you call them one at a time? Okay. Start with Dr.
Yeah, would you like me to talk about the Public Affairs Committee?
No, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dr. Renee Mera. I've got a doctorate in public health, and I've been with community board since 2002, and continue to do so because I love community service. I have run as a councilwoman from this area before, and I continue to do my civic responsibilities because I feel that each one of us should be involved so that we can make our voice heard. And I'm also the chair of public relations and social media committee on our committee board. So thank you all.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John Dereshevsky. I live in Forest Hills on 67th Road, right on the border with Rego Park. I've moved to Forest Hills in 2001 from Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and I've been on the community board since 2004. I chair the board's law and bylaw committee, and worked a few years ago to comprehensively revise the bylaws. I'd like to welcome everybody of the new members. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. My spirit was willing, but unfortunately my battery-operated wheelchair was not. And hope we get to meet you soon. Just wanted to say that as the board's parliamentarian and as the chairman of the bylaw committee, I would like to encourage the new members to look at the bylaws. They're on our website. They're easy to access. And in particular, look at the procedures regarding our absence regulations and the procedures used to request and excuse absence. It's an important thing. Both the board and the borough president pays a lot of attention to that. And the bylaws themselves, I think, are good to look at just to see how we function. So in any event, I'd like to welcome the board members. I'm sorry I can't meet you in the flesh. I guess we will be doing that in May. And again, welcome aboard. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kendra Clark. I moved to Forest Hills in 2014, so I've been out here 10 years now. And I just got renewed to the board, so I believe 2021 was my first year as a board member. And I do a lot of work around healing and restorative justice, housing, kind of all in those kind of spaces. I'm one of the leader on Closing Rikers Island, so I do a lot of work in that space. And I co-chair the Mental Health and Substance Use Disorder Subcommittee with Diana, and I also sit on the committee for those without shelter. So really looking forward to working with you all. And again, I apologize also for not being there in person tonight. I am there in spirit, as John said. My ankle that I sprained really bad is not. So I needed to make sure I could elevate it during the meeting and on and off. So I'm excited to see you guys next month in person.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Latrice Davis. I have lived in Regal Park since 2018. I joined the community board in 2021. I was motivated to do so by two major incidents, that being January 6th and COVID-19. I currently serve on the Land Use Housing Landmarks Committee, the Transportation Street Safety Committee, and I am chairwoman of the Committee for Those Without Shelter. I look forward to meeting all the new members in person next month. I look forward to continuing to serve with my fellow members who have preceded me on the board. And again, I thank you for being here.
Welcome to everyone. I'm sorry I'm recuperating from a cold, or else I would be there tonight. But then again, I wouldn't be there tonight because it's very hard to maneuver a walker in the rain because you can't hold an umbrella, which tells you I'm disabled. I'm a disabled senior. I've lived in Queens since 1967, living in this community. In 67, when we moved from the South Bronx, right on the corner of where the Cross Bronx Expressway destroyed my neighborhood, to Lefrak City, which meant that I grew up within 400 feet of Rego Park. And in 82, we moved in a straight line 1/2 a mile to where I'm living 42 years in Rego Park. I'm presently on the Disability, Aging, Senior Committee, Transportation Committee. I've been serving on the community board for a number of years. I can't remember how many. And it's a distinct honor to be able to do this, and a privilege. And I want to let the new members know that you're working with some incredibly fine individuals who you will have the privilege to get to know. Some you may love, some you may like, and some, well, we'll leave it at that. But remember, we're all here to serve the purpose of serving our community. And thank you very much.
Well, welcome to all the new members. My name is Sharon Rolnick, and I am the chair of the Education and Youth Committee. I'm also serving on the Mental Health and Substance Committee and the Aging and Social Welfare Committee. I've been living in Forest Hills for about 37 years. I was born and raised here. I think that's it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And two real things real quickly for the new members. You're swearing in, as you know, as you probably know, is April 15th right here at Borough Hall, and we will be having an orientation virtually, not in person, on May the 7th via WebEx, and we'll be getting that information out to you shortly. That'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions about all the silly things that we do. Sometimes it may not make sense to you, but eventually will, maybe, hopefully. Next thing I want to do is call up Gladys Sandoval. She is going to be running our, talking to us about our liquor licenses tonight. As unusual as it may be, we only have renewal liquor licenses tonight. We do not have new liquor licenses tonight. So this should be pretty easy and straightforward. This is something we do every single meeting.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So like you mentioned, it will be very quick, and we are the fund committee. So when the committees open up, sign up, okay? So, so there are 4 of them that we're renewing, and the first one is Dine Bar at 9745 Queens Boulevard. That's in Rico Park. The next one is 718 Hokat Lounge, Inc. at 7213 Austrian Street, and that's in Forest Hills. We have the Forest Hills Stadium, 6950 Burn Street in Forest Hills. In Cantu Peruvian Cuisine, 10507 Metropolitan Avenue, Forest Hills. The 112 precinct didn't have any issues or complaints with the establishments, and our committee voted yes to all of them. Thank you.
Point of information.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you patronize any of those?
Can we, hold on, can we get a microphone down to Mr. Shantz, please? Just a point of information?
Yeah, just on, if you patronize any of those places, can you still vote?
Yes. Because I eat out a lot, so I'd be screwed all the time. I mean, I cook too, my family will tell you. Okay, thank you so much, Gladys. All right, so here's the situation tonight. Unless you are an owner of one of the establishments, a co-owner or an investor, then you would vote. If you happen to be an owner or an investor, then you would have to recuse yourself from voting. That would, so just to explain, since there seem to be no issues tonight and these are renewals, we're gonna do a voice vote. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I just want to quickly just explain to the new people why we vote on liquor licenses. Every establishment in Community Board 6, if they serve beer or liquor, they have to apply to send us a notification telling us that they're renewing their liquor license. Those applications will be on the back of your agenda every month. So if you have any issues with them, you can bring it to the chair's attention. We send it to the 112th precinct and ask if they've had any issues with any of the establishments. So this will be a vote that you take every month at the community board meetings, whether it be a new application or a renewal application. So as long as we approve it, it just stays for our records. If we have an issue with a specific establishment, then we would send that to the State Liquor Authority, and they would consider that in their approval of the liquor license. But if we are in favor of it and we have no issues, it just remains in our record.
And I think this district is lucky. We've not really had a liquor license pulled, at least not in the time that I've served on this board. So we have pretty well-behaved restaurants here. So that's really a good thing. So we're going to take a voice vote instead of me calling a roll call vote, which would mean recording an individual vote for each of you tonight, just for expediency's sake, to try to hit Michael Arcadi's goal. So I've probably blown through it by now. You're looking at it, you're going, yeah, this girl's crap out of luck. But, so we're gonna take a voice vote. So all in favor of these renewals, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say no. Okay, the motion, any abstentions? Okay, and the recommendation carries. So thank you so much, Gladys and Brentley, for your work on that. Next up is going to be Diane Rocknayev. She's going to come and do a quick presentation on a day rehab program that is looking for a letter of recommendation from us.
Thank you, Heather. On 3/26/24, this committee met with Emmanuel Calendar, the owner of the Rigo Park Counseling, which is a for-profit located at 6336 99th Street, Rigo Park. He has been operating the center under the auspices of both OMH and the Oasis licensing since 2020. Emmanuel requested for a letter of support for day rehab services, which has already been approved by Oasis. The committee held a poll and agreed to provide a letter of support, with the understanding that a follow-up review will be conducted within a time frame to evaluate the progress and impact of the day rehab services, and there were no further concerns. That's it.
Well, before you go. I wanna make sure. Does anybody have any questions in this regard? All right, Diana, thank you so much. All right, so again, we're gonna take a voice vote since there were no questions. I'm taking that to be an indicator that there are no concerns. So all in favor of a letter of recommendation for this day have program for Rego Park Counseling LLC, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone love it. All opposed? Anyone opposed? Say no? Okay. So that their recommendation carries. All right. Next is going to be an update. Peter Beadle is going to provide us with some background. In our meeting coming up in May, there will be a resolution from the Transportation Committee regarding a project, an ADA project with Long Island Railroad. We're taking a few minutes tonight to give background because specifically for the 12 new board members, we didn't feel it made sense for you all to try to be voting on something that you absolutely know nothing about. I believe tonight they were given presentation. You were given a copy of the presentation that was provided last meeting. We don't expect you to study it, get a quiz on it next time, but it should help provide some context as Peter's walking you through that tonight. And again, when Peter is done, if you have questions, you can ask Peter tonight, or if you have questions that come later, you can call the office or email Peter.
If you don't have the presentation, it just means that we're mailing your folder to you because we either didn't think you were coming to this meeting or you didn't get your folder. So everyone this week will have a copy of the presentation.
Not a problem, thank you very much. And I'm not going through the whole presentation, so don't worry if you don't have it in front of you, but just to bring everybody up to speed, especially for our new members, what's happening, the Long Island Railroad has been working on a project to increase the ADA accessibility at the Forest Hills Long Island Railroad Station. They're also implementing a plan to lengthen the platforms on both sides, because currently if you ride on the LIRR and stop at Forest Hills, you know the announcement goes out, you need to be in the first 4 cars if you're getting off at Forest Hills. So they're trying to lengthen those platforms so that a full car can embark and disembark on the platform. You won't have to move cars again. It's a very large project. As part of that project, and in part in response to several lawsuits on ADA accessibility, they're also performing some upgrades to the station. Now, a couple years ago, this project was beginning to come onto the radar. One of the things that this community board pushed for was that this is great, we would like to see elevators at the station. Currently, what exists is a ramp that is not ADA compliant. It's rather steep on both sides and narrow. So originally the idea was, yes, okay, we'll do elevators. We worked with our congressperson, Representative Grace Meng. She was able to get an earmark of $7 million in order to help fund those elevators. And we thought that's the direction we were moving in. Towards the end of last year, we suddenly learned, and not because the LIRR came to us first, but we kind of learned through other community partners, including the Forest Hills Gardens Corporation, that actually they've changed their minds. They're not going to be doing elevators. They are going to upgrade the ramp to make the ramp ADA compatible. And that's good. We need ADA compatible ramps. But that also means that this ramp, since it now won't be as steep, which is good, will be much longer, which can be problematic. So if we can have elevators, that's something we still want to see. We've been trying to work with the Forest Hills Garden Corporation, and we've all found one of the issues at the station, I think everyone probably knows it, but this is a historic station. It's been in movies, it's been in TV shows, it's a beautiful station, we need to keep it that way. But we've been able to work with the Forest Hills Garden Corporation, and we know exactly where we could put this elevator. They would like to see the elevator as well, but the Long Island Railroad is maintaining their position that no, you're not doing it. It's a resource allocation issue. So apparently elevators are super expensive. I've heard numbers as much as $25 million for one of these elevators, which is mind-boggling. Keith, our chair of the land use, is also a licensed architect working on a 5-story building right now, 2 elevators. I think you said last time it was $3 to $5 million. Yeah, so $25 million for an elevator, that's the cost of an unloaded F-16 airplane. It seems absurd, but that's what we're being told. Anyway, so what's happened now is the Long Island Railroad presented here, told us, no, you're not getting an elevator. We know what's best. This is how we want to do it. Ramps are, what we will do with the ramp, an idea that came up in our committee meetings, is they are going to install a system in the ramp so that they melt the ice and snow during the winter. That's cool, that's great, but no elevators. So in follow-up conversations, here at the board, within the Transportation Committee meeting. What we're working on now is a resolution that we'll bring to the board in May, outlining all the steps of this timeline and why we need the elevator, and also kind of bringing out and making a point that there are other stations that already have elevators, already have escalators, that are now getting new elevators. And what's interesting here is the specific contract for construction of this station is wrapped up with 2 other stations, including the Babylon station out on Long Island. That's a big station. It's one of the busiest in the LIRR system. But it also already has 2 elevators and 2 escalator systems that will also be upgraded. And now they're going to receive 2 new elevators on top of that for a total of 4 and 2 escalators. I don't begrudge Babylon. I don't think any of us would. But it starts becoming very difficult to understand how we're being told, no, you absolutely cannot have this. When you look at this area, we know from DOT and other studies that this particular area is one that has a very large elderly population. Is increasingly, we're seeing a new wave of young families coming into the district. So think about strollers and carrying all your kids' stuff. There's a very real need in this community to have these elevators. It's been one of our priorities. Our elected officials are working with us to get it done. So we're going to bring a resolution to ask our elected officials to kind of double the effort and put more pressure on the LIRR in order to get this done. So that's the context. Any questions now or later? Abby. Yes, Martha.
Just want to make a major comment. Microphone. Sorry, yeah, I have a little voice, so I apologize.
No, everyone I see is a girl.
I need to make a major comment. The major comment is Babylon is Suffolk County. We are Queens. We were allocated the funds to have an elevator, and in most, I believe in all of the renovated stations in Queens, every one within the past 10 years had elevators. There is no reason for us not to have an elevator. It was allocated, and Radiant pavement is not going to be acceptable to us. Because if anything, you're saving more money on Radiant pavement. Where's the rest of the money going to? That's it.
Thanks, Martha. Mark?
I just want to supplement what Martha's saying. I don't know if people saw the newspaper. Monday morning, Newsday had a front page article that it seems the MTA had paid $1.2 billion in overtime. Yeah. So if they could pay $1.2 billion in overtime, I don't understand how this is a financial issue. So I just wanted to make that point. I just thought, again, the contrast between that and other things. So I just wanted to make that point.
Salwa, we should put that into the resolution.
Anything else?
Any other questions? Okay.
All right. Thank you. One more thing that I could add to this is that to make it clear, Forest Hills Gardens Gardens Corporation has been a really good partner in this. They have worked with us and they have been supplying us information as they get it. And the Station Square Preservation League has also been a very good partner to us. So I just want to say that we have had very little resistance within this community. They seem to really want to work together, which is wonderful. And then one other thing that we asked them for that they are pushing back on is a canopy. To her point, you guys saw the rain tonight. I mean, myself, able-bodied, okay, I'm freaking 53, so I'm not running like I did when I was 20. However, I got drenched coming here, and I'm able-bodied. I had a coat. I had my hair all wrapped up so it wouldn't get jacked up. But if Pat, was trying to get from point A to point B in that deluge, let's even say that the slightly milder deluge, it would be impossible. And they've pushed back on a canopy for a lot of reasons, for visibility reasons. But there are several designs that we have seen that can be lit, several designs that can be at higher elevation so that it's not obstructing the view. So I'm just wanted to share that information. Yes, Martha, and then I gotta get the pad.
I just want to add
Okay, microphone.
I need
Go
to
for it.
add, on top of Pat, we have a lot of mothers with children in baby strollers, packages, using the subways and LAR. They can't hold umbrellas.
I agree with you, and most people
It's
when they're
not
heading into the city
acceptable.
are shopping. You know, so those paper bags, let's face it, they don't hold up to the rain, even if you double them. Okay, let's go to Pat, and then we're gonna move on to the next piece of the meeting. Do you have a mic over there or no? Okay, thank you, Robert. Pat, go ahead.
I just want to say that at the first meeting we had over by Costco, the person in charge of accessibility is a gentleman who is in a wheelchair, who stated at the meeting, when asked why he wasn't providing us with the elevator, he said, and here is a man in a wheelchair who said it, and it's on the videotape, he did not feel it was necessary. Talk about irony. A disabled man saying that an elevator was not necessary for other disabled people, for other people who need it. Now, one thing that you have to realize for everyone, that ramp is going to be 200 feet long. That's the equivalent of an average block. If you were going from 64th Avenue to 64th Road on 99th Street, that is the amount of 200 feet. Try doing that in weather like today. Or try doing that when you're exhausted. It's an extra block, and then having to walk the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat, appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna move to the next part of our meeting, which is Sala. If you could come up, she's going to do, talk to us about a logo competition that we're having, and she's doing this on behalf of Dr. Renee tonight, who is attending remotely. So, thank you.
All right, so yes, as Heather mentioned, Dr. Renee Mera couldn't be with us in person tonight. As you saw, she was with us earlier. But we are able to share with you in person a little bit of what we're working on over at the Public Relations and Social Media Committee. And I would be remiss if I didn't share that so much of what I'm about to share with you was devised beautifully by Emily Otalora, whom you all may know as one of our fellow members. She's a public member of this board, and she's also a part of this. She's a marketing manager in her day job, and she just blew this out the park. It is amazing. Also, I'm a baseball mom now, so you're going to be getting a lot of very incorrectly stated references to baseball tonight. Thank you so much. Yeah, so basically our website logo, I think it might look like something here to my left, which is the blue insignia here. I think we've had like an interim logo or have borrowed. Yes, on the letterhead as well. We've kind of been borrowing either from the Queensborough Queensborough Hall's office or some other interim logo in the interim, but we kind of need our own, possibly even for legal reasons. No, I'm just kidding, but we just need our own logo. So we thought, how better to do it than to involve the community, engage everyone, find those artists that are among us, and encourage folks to design a logo that represents our board and represents our community. So we devised a plan, and by we, I strongly mean Emily Otalora. So when you see her next, definitely pat her on the back. And actually, if you are sitting next to, there you go. Check your email if you are a chair person, and you can share it with people. Check your email now, because then you can click on the link that will show you this. If you are not a chair and you're not sitting next to a chair that can show you, you can also pull it up on your phone right now. It's tinyurl.com, and then /CB6 logo. CB6 logo. And this will just give you a little more of a fleshy, meaty, am I hungry? I am. Kind of detailed view of what the logo competition logistics look like. And this is kind of our timeline. So what we're doing tonight is we're just sharing with you as well as seeking your approval to give it a go and to launch this accordingly. And so to give you the gist of it, the competition would start April 15, tax day, also known as my child's birthday. Submissions deadline would be about May 15, and these are tentative, right? So if we recognize that there's holidays or something in between, or if there's other things that may trump it, we will adjust accordingly. And then there would be voting round 1, which would be around May 16, where our committee would pick top 20 logo submissions for the board to review. And then after that, we would then present those to the board, and we would give you the chance to vote for your top 5, and that would be via Google form so that we don't have to wait until the next meeting, so we can speed things along. And then the voting would be in the final round, and that would be the one that's the public poll around May 24 via Google form as well. And we would allow a voting period of about 7 to 10 days. We'll just make sure that it works properly with our scheduling. And then we would make the announcement on June 4 or so, tentatively that day. And it's kind of exciting. So we would, try to whittle it down, assuming we, get a bunch of logo designs. Is anybody planning on submitting their own logo design? We will not be biased towards you. We just are curious. Any artists in the room? No, you're feeling a little shy, Peter Beetle? That's fine. You don't have to. That's what I'm talking about. Mark Laster. Mark Laster, everyone.
I'm not an artist. No, what I'm going to suggest, though, is a lot of us belong to organizations. I really think that once we announce this competition, we should spread around within our networks and our context. Let's get as many possibilities out there as possible. I know Heidi, who's not here tonight, every year the 112th Police Precinct does run these competitions, and maybe reach out to schools. And maybe, wouldn't it be really cool if a fifth grader, a fifth grader designs one, and that's the one that we choose? I mean, would that be cool?
Absolutely epic. And I'm glad you mentioned also about dissemination, because we have a couple of ideas as to how to do that. 1, through all of us. 2, through our Facebook and X. And also, Peter Beetle mentioned that New York Link, those charging stands and stuff that are out in the public. That's another way to call it. The other way was perfectly fine as well. Those are also great ways to spread the message, and they can be tailored to your particular community. So if we wanted our community to see them, we could, but it's open as well. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Me.
Yes, tell me everything, Jane.
The logo that we have right now, tell me about the history about that logo.
Yes, so in 1937, something must have happened unrelated to the logo, which is me making something up right now about said logo.
1937.
Heather might actually know though.
Okay, so there was an initial logo that we had that was basically had a big white pot on it.
Right.
And white pot is part of the history of this community, and the history basically goes that this land was bought from Indians for 3 pots, basically. Now, we have had concerns raised about that story. As you can understand, 3 pots for a lot of land can be, and given some of the history with Native Americans. And we also have had a hard time actually running this story down. I at one point reached out to the Smithsonian and it didn't call me back, so that kind of let me know that maybe they thought I was a crackhead. I'm kind of crazy that this story just couldn't possibly be true. Because we have tried to run this story down, and every time I research it, it's a circular reference. It's a reference that refers to another reference to another reference, and they're all sort of referencing each other. My goodness, God bless you. Are we good? And God bless you again, Martha, for the win. So that has been used at the top of our letterhead for quite some time. And then Alexa, when she came on, she had designed this really colorful one. Actually, the funny thing is, all the colors on my shirt tonight were the colors of that logo. And then we changed it back to just the seal coins because we didn't have anything, because it also didn't make sense to have a logo that only really represented part of the community, like the White Pot part, like the actual LIRR station that used to be in Regal Park was called White Pot Junction. So when the Rockaway Beach branch was running, so we just thought it made sense to do a competition that was, by the people, by the people for the people. Not to sound corny, but yeah, that's the story. I see Pat Morgan has her hand up. Here. Oh, they got one. Okay, Pat.
Hi. I spent 17 years in printing, desktop publishing, graphic design, and have made probably over 100 logos for companies. What are the printing requirements for this? For example, you're going to be printing this in 4-color, or is it going to be in a 3-color process? Is it going to be something that needs to print in black and white on a laser printer, which is how we get our, stuff in the mail, using a monochrome printer,
Right.
black and white laser printer.
Pat, what we can do, they've got a spec sheet that they've put together. We can make sure that the PR committee gets that to us for Friday. And we can circulate that along with the Friday information so that everyone on the board has all that information. And then if there are questions, Pat, that are not addressed on that, if you could just let Dr. Renee Sawa and Peter Beadle know, that would be great. And then they can make sure to adjust the sheets accordingly. Does that work?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. There's good questions. Yep. Anything else? Martha. White pot referred to the white pots that were sold, which is a legend. It's not white, they were white ceramic pots. Yeah, if you guys actually go home and Google it, you'll see what I mean. There's a circular reference where, yeah, you'll find it. So there we go. Okay, I want to call up. Thank you, Sawa. That was great. Appreciate it, Sawa. Okay, next up, Mr. Bruce Grossberg is going to come up and talk to us about a resolution in regards to nursing homes. Just walk over the. Can you lift? Wow. Check him out. There's wires over there, and it's hella tricky. Okay.
Well, that's it for the year. I am Bruce Grossberg. I'm the chair of the Aging, Social Services, and Disabilities Committee. On February 22, the committee had a webinar, a public webinar called Nursing Homes After COVID-19. And the speakers were our states, one of our state senators. We have a lot more now. Senator Joseph Adabo, and also Richard Mollett, who is the executive director of the Long-Term Care Community Coalition. And he spoke about nursing homes and nursing home abuses, and people in the room had a lot of stories to say about it that were not so pleasant. And then when our committee met on March 21, not that it matters, March 21, we also had stories that were not so pleasant. So we thought maybe we should start to push this forward. The state budget's due to pass any day now, and you may see these commercials about how the governor won't move Medicare forward, but part of the reason she won't do that is she feels that the money's there, that the nursing home operators and the rehabilitation facilities operators have the money they need, they're just not allocating it properly. And given the horror stories we heard, we thought maybe we'd help push that along and ask our legislators to just take a look at things before they start spending money. And we put this resolution together, which is in front of all of you, and we're hoping to pass it tonight, so on the off chance that we might be able to get something done before the budget passes over the next few weeks. And that's what we have organized. Oh, questions?
Microphone.
I know it's a short period of time, and I don't know if we have enough time to do that, but could we ask for public input of how people can share their experiences with nursing homes during COVID? Like, could we ask so that we can document, get names, get stories, and have a transcript so that it's not just, you know, us saying that, but can we do something to that nature?
Well, that's a great idea. The two things I'd say about that in terms of tonight is that, you know, we're passing a sense of the board to move things forward. We don't really know how effective our April 3rd resolution is going to be for a budget process that's supposed to be finalized 2 days ago. But we also know that this is just a way to start the ball moving. So all these things you propose are good things to propose and to do going forward. We're just trying to start things moving tonight if we can. But that's up to the board. That's why we have the board here to talk about all these things. But anyway, is that a good answer to that question?
Sure.
Anything else?
Okay.
Move to accept the resolution.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Howard is a second. All in favor to accept this resolution as written, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, then the resolution carries. Bruce, thank you for your work.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, now, we're going to, yep. Can you look for, Kelly from, James Gennaro's office? She should be an attendee. If you look at the list, which one is she? Where is everything? No, she's not here. Okay, so we just promote from the Queensborough President's Office, if we could do that. We're moving on to the second good and welfare part of our meeting, where we hear from elected officials, elected official representatives that are here tonight on, and so they're gonna give us some announcements, and then if you have any questions for some of them, we can do that just for a little bit tonight, because we're gonna be out of here by 9 o'clock. I hope. I know that's not, and that should be, yeah, that's pretty good. Right? Is that pretty good? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Based on history, this is like amazing. Okay, so if the elected officials that are here, elected official reps could come and stand up here, just line up, because this way at the end of the meeting, sometimes my brain is fatigued. This meeting actually wasn't too gruesome. And then if you guys could just introduce yourself and then do your announcements, come on up. They'll come further up. Come up to me. I took a shower. Got perfume on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you need a minute? Or are you good?
You didn't expect to be up here this early. That's what it was.
I never expected. They had a 7:30 meeting like we do. They had to wait till it's not even 9 yet.
Hello everyone, my name is Javier from Melinda Katz's office. I'm going to keep it very brief. We did a couple of events, but the main thing I want to touch upon tonight is I have a statement from the district attorney on Detective Diller, who unfortunately passed away last month. So, District Attorney Melinda Katz stands in solidarity with our law enforcement officers. I know. The DA's office will continue to work tirelessly seeking justice on behalf of Detective Diller, his family, friends, and the NYPD. 2 individuals were quickly apprehended at the scene and are now charged with serious crimes for their alleged roles in the killing. The alleged shooter is facing a first-degree murder charge in the death of Detective Diller and first-degree attempted murder attempting to fire his weapon at the NYPD sergeant, who was also at the scene. If convicted, the defendant faces up to life in prison without the possibility of parole. A second man, the accused driver of the vehicle the defendant was in, is charged with illegal possession of a weapon after a gun was found in the car. I want to assure everybody here that District Attorney Katz will not rest until justice is served in the case. Aside from that, there's no real huge announcement from the office, but I'm willing to take any questions.
Any questions for Tia Katz? Okay, so is there no questions? I'll take it down the line. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to all the new board members. My name is Thomas. I'm from State Assembly Member Catalina Cruz's office. I just want to share some events that our office has taken part of in the past month. So every month we host the New York Legal Assistance Group event, better known as NILAG. At our office, they help our constituents with immigration issues and family law matters. Additionally, we held multiple women empowerment events throughout the March, which is of course Women's History Month. We also held a Trans Day of Visibility event at Queens Community House. I believe it might have been at the Queensboro Hall. I don't exactly remember where it was though. And we've been hosting monthly mental health first aid sessions at Common Point Queens and Elmhurst. Now coming up, we're going to be joining CB6, AM Hevessy's office, and Councilmember Schulman's office for the community cleanup this coming Saturday. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday after.
Sunday.
Oh, this Sunday.
Sunday.
I think this is a different one, the 63rd Drive.
Yeah.
The 63rd Drive is different.
Oh, so okay, 63rd Drive.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was second guessing myself.
We like that, you know? Yeah.
And we're also going to be having another mental health awareness event. This time it's going to be with Elmhurst Hospital. That'll be on Wednesday, the 27th. And we are also going to be hosting, it's not very far from here, but a Jackson Heights community cleanup as well on the 27th. The 24th is the Wednesday for the mental health event.
Any questions? Okay, good to go.
Hi everyone, hi new board members, I'm Gianna, I work with Assemblyman Hevessy's office. As it was previously mentioned, we have 2 cleanups next weekend, the first being on Saturday with Assemblywoman Catalina Cruz's office, Senator Adabo's CB6, and that will be on 63rd Drive. We meet at PS 139 on Saturday at 10 a.m. And then on Sunday, we have a Metropolitan Avenue cleanup with Senator Adabo's office, Councilmember Schulman's office, CB6, and that will be, we meet at Agner Chocolates, and it will be 10 a.m. and Forest Hills Green Team. And Metro Village. And it will begin at 10 a.m. All supplies will be provided. And yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Good evening. My name is John D'Angelo. I'm with Senator Dabo's Middle Village office. He's in Albany working on the budget and a couple other elections. Just quickly, some events. I have some flyers in the back. Some were handed out. In addition to all the cleanups, which I just got one email as I was leaving, but 2 paper shredding and recycling events. April 13th at Atlas Park from 10 to 1. Then April 28th, Forest Park Band Show. Paper shredding and household good donations go to a veterans organization. And then the other event is April 14th, Narcan training. It's going to be at the Street Fair at McDonald Park. So we'll be there somewhere. Same thing, any questions? Feel free to ask, call the office anytime.
Hey, Jordan, do you mind if we jump to Queensboro President, and then we'll jump back to you?
Okay, next up will be from the Queensboro President's Office, Georgia Katsoulis.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Georgia Katsoulis. I'm proud to announce that regarding board processes applications. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Sorry. Hello. Sorry again. The microphone died. Sure, no problem. Good evening, everyone. My name is Georgia Katsoulis, a community board liaison from the Queensboro President's Office. We're pleased to announce that our community board process now came to a close, and we've appointed 117 new applicants throughout the 14 boards. And then we also wanted to congratulate all of the new board members. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with the Director of Community Boards, Khalil Bragg, at kbragg@queensbp.org. And then we have some upcoming events at Queensboro Hall on April 12th at 10 a.m. We're going to be hosting the State of the Borough. Unfortunately, the tickets are sold out. On Wednesday, April 17th at 6 p.m., our office will mark the end of the month of Ramadan celebration at Borough Hall. And on on April 26th, which is Friday, from 3 to 7, we will have sweets and sweats for youth and young adults at Borough Hall. This event will offer high school and college students a chance to unwind and socialize. Lastly, on April 30th at 6 p.m., the office will host a virtual parent advisory board meeting. In order to RSVP for any of these events, please feel free to go to queensbp.org/RSVP. Thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Good evening, Jordan Goldis with Congresswoman Meng's office. Hearty welcome to all the board members, new board members, and congratulations to all the reappointed members. Of course, we look forward to working with everybody, continue working with everybody. Just a quick 60-second update. VA office hours, this is where we have the Department of Veterans Affairs come into our Northeast Queens office in Flushing. Usually once a month, so if any local veterans have any issues, they don't have to travel far, they can just come into the office, meet and speak with a VA representative. Last year, the Congresswoman secured $1 million for the Queens Chamber of Commerce to launch a legal desk that would provide free legal services to small businesses from Queens, and on May 3rd, we're going to be hosting that in our office, again, at the Northeast Queens office. Speaking of veterans, we introduced legislation last week to make it easier for veterans to purchase co-ops, which are a major part of the housing stock here in Forest Hills, Rego Park, and throughout Queens and New York City. And a quick update about the Rego Park Post Office. If you remember a few meetings ago, we got a complaint. Thank you, Peter, for referring that to us. A lot of the postal vehicles around the corner from the post office were parked on Elliott Avenue. We're parking in no standing zones. So we did hear some complaints about that. We had spoken to the Postal Service. They said, we'll stop doing it, but it did stop, but then it started again. So we reached back out and they told us again, it won't happen, so we'll continue to monitor. Thank you for listening. I'll be in the back if anybody wants to come over and chat or has any questions. Thank you.
Jordan, thank you so much for the small business of the chamber. They actually presented to one of our committees about a month ago, and then they came, I think, and spoke at one of our last meetings quickly during public comment time. So we're looking forward to that program. Did you have a question, Mark? Oh, okay, good. Any questions for the Congress member? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, a reminder that our meeting next month is on May 8th at 7 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, I have a motion from Howard. Second from Marcel Lashley Kabore. And so, all in favor say aye. Aye. Go home. Yes.